Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining my live stream. Hope everything has gone well for you. We certainly are going to be talking about the summer forecast, but we are still waiting for people to join, so just be patient for a little bit. So, like I said, we are going to be doing our summer forecast pretty soon, so I do hope you are ready for that. And we will certainly be getting things started for you, so I do hope you are enjoying the live stream. So, like I said, we are getting ready to do my live stream. Just hold on just a second. So yeah, if anyone is joining, thanks for joining. Like I said, we are going to be going over your summer forecast pretty soon, but I am glad you guys are joining. So I do certainly appreciate that. So since we are already starting to have some people join, let's go ahead and start talking about the summer forecast soon. And it turns out, starting with the month of June, okay? You can also leave questions about the summer forecast if you want to as well. I forgot to point that out at the beginning of the live stream, but you can also leave questions about the summer if you want to as well. That is perfectly fine with me. But like I said, starting with the month of June, we are going to be talking a very wet June for a lot of people, but also a pretty dry June, especially out to the west. So as you can see, we will be talking about some pretty dry and hot weather out here to the west. So places like southern Oregon, southern Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, getting down there into Kansas, Colorado, all of Utah, including Salt Lake City, back through Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and as well as Oklahoma will all be in for a dry and hot June. So if you do have any plans for June, it is looking to be hot and dry there, like I said. So, like I said, places like Utah will certainly be in for a pretty hot and dry summer. So, it will certainly be probably drier this year, too, as well. We'll have to see how things play out. But if we head a little bit up to the north, we start to see, maybe a little bit of change, because as you can see up here to the north, we expect Washington, Idaho, back into Montana, northern Wyoming, all the way down there into places like Portland will be in for some warmer temperatures along with some precipitation. So we certainly will be needing to be watching this area for warmer temperatures, and as well as some precipitation will be possible during the month of June in that area. And then going a little bit farther to the east, okay? We will be talking about, some nice cooler than normal days across the northern part of the United States. So this will be an area to certainly watch for nicer and even cooler weather during the month of June. So if you do live in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, back into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and as well as Maine, you certainly will be needing to be watching, for some cooler than normal temperatures. And let's see here. Bryce says, do you think we will go back into a drought? Yes, I do think you guys are going to be in a drought this summer. Cause like I said, for the month of June, Utah is going to be in for a dry and hot summer. We could be talking lots of days being up to 100 degrees there in Utah, but also much below average precipitation is also going to be a big factor of the summer too as well. So yes, absolutely. I can almost almost guarantee you guys that you guys will be in a drought this summer, so be on high alert for that. But if we head a little bit farther to the east, that's the wet part of the United States that we are expecting a lot of precipitation in. So places like Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, back into Maryland, but also Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, back into Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, back into Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, back into Louisiana, Florida, and as well as eastern Texas will be in for a pretty wet June. So if you are out here in this area, you're not likely to see a drought or anything this June, thankfully. So you are expected to see wet precipitation, or just a wet June if you do live in this light green area, which I already pointed out all the cities and that. But if you live in this dark green area, which does include eastern Kansas, southern Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, lots of Kentucky, back into West Virginia and Virginia, will be in for a very wet June, and this is the area that we will be needing to watch for severe thunderstorms. So I do hope that you guys out here to the east are on high alert for a very wet June with potentially numerous strong to severe thunderstorms. Now let's go ahead and move on to July. Okay, July is expected to be a little bit different. Okay, so for July we do expect more areas like up here to the north to start seeing more in the way of drier than normal, and also some wet precipitation too as well. Let's see here. Bob says, how is the weather in Mayfield, Kentucky? Weather in Mayfield, Kentucky is looking nice today, about where it is in our area right now. So Mayfield, Kentucky will certainly be on the nice side of things, because as you can see, Mayfield, Kentucky, if we go ahead and click on this, Mayfield, Kentucky, like I said, will certainly be dry. So if we look at the hourly forecast for Mayfield, as you can see, sunny skies. That's what we're exactly seeing right now in our area, and it's also pretty warm too as well. So Mayfield right now is looking awesome as it could be, and as you can see, Mayfield, Kentucky will start to see sunny skies during the weekend, but also maybe some more stormy weather next week. But back to where we were talking about before, if we go ahead and go back to July, like I said, as you can see, like I said, parts of the northern United States will certainly start to be in for a drier and as well as weather July. So if we start over here out to the west, as you can see, California and portions of Nevada will be very dry, but also some wildfires will be possible too as well in California. And not only California, places like Utah, back into Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, back into most of Nevada will certainly be in for some very dry and warmer weather, but also, again, wildfires will be possible during the month of July in all those areas. So if you do live in any of these states, even Wyoming, back into Montana, even Idaho, you guys will also be in for some pretty dry weather too as well during the month of July. But if we move on to this area, so places like Oregon, including Portland, back into Washington, those areas right there will certainly be in for some drier weather as we do head into July too as well. So this is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. Let's see here. Bryce says, is this caused by La Nina? Yes, this is caused by La Nina, because as you can see, those sea surface temperatures are already changing to La Nina right now. If we look at how those temperatures are doing, look at that. Those temperatures have been dropping like a rock. So those water temperatures are getting ready to change to a La Nina. So as soon as those water temperatures get past the 0 line, that's where it's considered a La Nina. So as this blue line does drop down farther and gets past this black line right here, that's where we will certainly start to be in a La Nina. So we are in a neutral phase right now, but we certainly will start to be in a La Nina as we do get closer. Let's see here. Bob says, thank you. You're welcome. How is the weather in the Dallas, Oregon? So, Dallas, Oregon. So, for Dallas, Oregon, is looking about the same again. So as you can see throughout the day today, sunny skies for Dallas, Oregon, and we will likely be talking clear skies during the nighttime hours. So again, pretty much the same as Mayfield, and as well as here in our area will also be pretty similar to as well. And not only there, but as you can see, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday also look to be pretty nice too as well. So all three areas, including Mayfield, will certainly be a very nice day, and that's because all of those severe storms last night have ate up all of that energy, which is bringing nicer conditions because the atmosphere doesn't have any energy to work with. So, like I said, Dallas, Oregon is looking to be on the nice side of things for the next few days, which is great. And it doesn't look like you guys are going to also be seeing very much rain either. So, it is certainly going to be a pretty dry and nice weekend for you guys in Dallas, Oregon. But if we go ahead and go back to where we were before, so like I said, Dallas, Oregon will also be on the drier side of things for July, but as you can see down here towards the south and southeast, but also the lower Ohio Valley, this area is expected to see a warm and as well as a wet June and July. So since we will be talking July also being on the wetter side of things, we could certainly be talking lots of severe weather events again during the month of July. So not only June, but also the month of July will be a month to certainly watch for some pretty active, strong to severe thunderstorms. And so this will certainly be an area that we do need to be watching for again for strong to severe thunderstorms. So again, if you do live down here towards the southeast and as well as this Ohio Valley, again, be on high alert for some, strong to severe thunderstorms, and that does include Mayfield back into, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, back into West Virginia, all of Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, all included in a wetter than normal July for this year. So certainly going to be one of the areas to keep an eye on. And as we head a little bit farther to the north, this heads from Texas all the way up to North Dakota, but as far east as Maine, this whole corridor right there is likely to see some dry days and as well as some wet days, but also it will be warm too as well. So this area will kind of be, on the wild side of things for July, where, like I said, we'll be talking some wet days, some dry days, and as well as some warmer weather too as well for all of this area right here that I put it in for the month of July. So this area right here is certainly going to be an area that we do need to certainly be watching for, some drier days, some wet days, and as well as some warmer weather too as well, like I said. But if we go ahead and move on to August, okay, August is looking to be the most active month of the summer. So if we go ahead and look at Utah again, as you can see, Utah will be in the area that has drier and hotter in it. And so this is definitely going to be a big corridor to watch for that. So starting down over here towards the southwest, so pretty much California, Nevada, southern Oregon, southern Idaho, back into a western part of Arizona will still be hot, but it doesn't look to be as dry as what it has been or what we're expecting it to be during the month of June and July. So August may start to, see some sprinkles out there during the month of August, and that's because we're getting closer to the fall. That's where things, start to get more and more wet as you head into the fall, and that is for this area right here, like I said. So doesn't look to be as dry in this area, at least not as dry as what we're expecting for June and July. So this area will be an area to keep an eye on for maybe a few rain showers during the month of August, but it's still expected to be quite dry overall. But if we head a little bit farther to the north, as you can see, most of Oregon, back into Washington, back into, Idaho, but even all the way over here towards Maine, this whole corridor is bad, okay? That's because we're talking wildfires likely. A really big area that could certainly be on wildfires, and that's going to be bad. That's why I said it's going to be bad, because we are going to be talking a likely risk for wildfires in this entire area that is shaded in red. So if you do live in this area, be prepared for some pretty dangerous wildfires during the month of August. So this is definitely going to be, a pretty big area to watch for some pretty significant wildfire events. And so certainly be on high alert if you live in any of this area up here to the north. Now, as we head a little bit farther down to the south, pretty much from Utah all the way down here or over here to the Ohio Valley. So places like the Ohio Valley, that includes Ohio and Indiana, back into Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, back into Denver, Colorado, back into southern Wyoming, and as well as Utah, look to be drier and even hotter. So it certainly is looking like things are going to start drying up for the Ohio Valley as we do head into August. So we might be, calming things down a little bit as we do head into August. So you guys in the Ohio Valley will certainly need to, maybe be watching for a drought in August, but most of the summer should be on the weather side of things. But if we head a little bit farther down to the south, so pretty much Nashville, Tennessee, and farther down to the south, this area is expected to see weather than normal conditions still. So places like all the south region back into the southeast will certainly be an area to watch for weather than normal conditions still, and so certainly still be watching the weather pretty closely if you do live in the southeast. So all 3 months, including August, will be on the weather side for you guys, but just 2 of the months are expected to be on the weather side of things up here for the Ohio Valley. But if we go ahead and look over here toward the mid-Atlantic in the southern part of the northeast, we certainly will be talking, near normal conditions, and so that's why I don't have any outlook put for that area. So near normal conditions will be a good thing back here toward, Pennsylvania, back into Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Philadelphia, New York, Connecticut, back into, Providence, Rhode Island, even heading into Massachusetts and southern New York will be an area that we do certainly need to be watching for some pretty, nice conditions, because they're looking to see normal conditions overall. So if you have any questions about any of the months, so that includes June, July, and as well as August, feel free to leave those in the chat, and I will certainly answer them for you guys. And you guys can also, maybe leave some zip codes still if you want, if you haven't already. But even if you have, that's perfectly fine. You guys can, continue to ask more questions or leave zip codes in the chat if you want to. But let's go ahead and start talking about what we expect for severe storms, because that area that is expected to see wetter than normal conditions would be the southeast, back into the Ohio Valley, looking to be the wettest for the summer. So if we look at the severe weather forecast, this is what we expect to occur during the summer. So this is pretty much going to be how we expect the severe weather to play out. So first of all, this is how we expect severe weather to play out. Starting over here towards the Four Corners region, where we're likely going to have a high pressure system come in and, impact the Four Corners region, which will keep these areas dry. And we're going to have that airflow turning clockwise, which is certainly going to, help keep those areas dry. And over here into over here up here to the north, we will certainly be in for some drier weather too as well. So we're also going to be talking a high pressure system up here with again airflow going clockwise, and as those two high pressure systems blow air clockwise, areas in between will have a chance of severe weather. So pretty much from South Dakota all the way into North Carolina will need to be on high alert for severe storms. That includes Iowa, back into northeast Kansas, back into a pretty good portion there of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, back into West Virginia, back into Virginia, and North Carolina will be an area that we do need to be watching for derecho, because as you can see, I did write the highest chance of seeing a derecho. So if you live in this area right here, be on high alert for potentially a dangerous severe weather event in this area. But if you live in the yellow color, a derecho is still possible, just not as favorable of an area. So if, like I said, if you do live in this red area, be on high alert for potentially, a derecho event or two, and that's because, of how we expect these high pressure systems to play out, where we're going to have one block in the Four Corners region and then one up here to the north. That's, where we will need to be watching, for some drier than normal conditions, while areas in between likely to see a risk of severe weather. But like I said, if you haven't left any questions already, feel free to do so. We will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest on how things are going to be looking like for the summer. But if we go ahead and also look at what the temperatures are right now, like I said, ocean temperatures are cooler than normal right now, but if we look at what they are, this is in Celsius. So as you can see, some areas like this blue area right here, 27 degrees Celsius, which I think are actually cooler than normal temperatures, but 22 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Celsius, just some of these areas are cooler than normal, but also some of them are also way, above normal too as well, especially these pink areas that you see. So we are still in, an El Nino. Like I said, that line has not passed the 0.0 mark, and that's the line right there, as you can see. So certainly an area to keep an eye on, or certainly something to keep an eye on as we do head into the summer hours. And this is also likely going to impact the hurricane season, so make sure, to be on high alert if you do live along the Gulf Coast. So like I said, be on high alert if you do live along the Gulf Coast for hurricanes. But also, if you live in the Midwest, Ohio Valley, back into the Southeast, a derecho is also possible too as well, and I can actually show you that again. So anywhere in this red area, you got the best chance of seeing a derecho. Everywhere in this yellow area, there's a possible risk of a derecho. So make sure to be on high alert in this red area right here if you haven't figured out how the summer is going to be playing out. So like I have been saying, the severe weather is certainly going to be across this whole area right here, like I said. And like I also said earlier, feel free to leave questions and other things in the chat if you want to. But, make sure they are, respectful. But, you can continue to leave questions in the chat, like, how is the weather in Wyoming looking? Things like that you can certainly leave in the chat if you want, if you haven't already. But certainly, you can continue to stick around if you want to. But yeah, so we will need to be watching for severe weather in this corridor right here, and like I also said, you can even ask questions if you want about August or July or June, any of those months. So yeah, but we have been talking about all the months, guys. I'm really glad you guys have been joining me. We will continue to stay live just a little bit longer, just in case any of you guys still have questions. You certainly don't have to ask questions, but you can if you want to, and that's why we are going to be live for just a little bit longer, and I can even continue to talk about this if you want. So, like I said, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them now, because, you know, if none of you guys are wanting to stick around, I can certainly end my stream, but we will still continue to be live for just a few more minutes if you guys have any more questions. But like I said, you know, lots of these areas are certainly on the nicer side of things for today. All those, you know, local forecasts that we answered all look to be sunny and nice today, like I said. So certainly going to be something, you know, to keep an eye on as we continue to get closer. And we also will be needing to be watching for other things too as well. But yeah. So, you know, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy the summer forecast. If you guys, you know, are needing to, you know, answer more questions, that is great. And let's see here. Dylan says, thanks, I need to go. That's perfectly fine. Thanks for joining. I absolutely appreciate that. And like I said, any more questions that want to be answered, you probably have to leave them now, because I am getting ready to end my stream. So, like I said, guys, thank you very much for joining my summer forecast. I hope you guys have all had a great day so far, because it is certainly nice after all those severe storms have moved through. And thanks for letting me thanks for telling me that, Bob. I certainly do appreciate that. So, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching my live stream, and we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest.